On to the latest trend that's sweeping the internet.
So-called NFT.
They're now selling for huge bucks.
$69 million.
Oh my gosh. So what's behind this latest craze?
That is the question to ask.
Y'all in the chat understand what an NFT is?
Like, does that stand for not safe for work? What does this mean?
Why would you pay for an NFT when you can look at it for free?
Is this a gigantic bubble just waiting to burst?
I believe in this space with my whole heart.
I'm just fascinated by it, all of it.
Welcome back to Investment Tribe, where you've subscribed because you want to learn all about cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and other digital assets. Don't forget to leave us a thumbs up and enable the notifications so you'll be alerted whenever we post a new video. In this video, we are talking about what separates a good NFT project from the rest. These tips are essential for NFT investors because getting tangled in a scammy NFT project is not the way. So watch the entire video to learn the signs to look for when finding a good NFT investment. But first, an important disclaimer. We are not financial advisors. We're just enthusiasts in this field. So don't take this as professional advice and invest at your own risk. So let's not waste any time and let's just dive into the topic at hand. 95% of NFTs failed. Many products are flooding the market that most people cannot enter. There are elements of metaverse projects that guarantee their success. Today, we will discuss some of the things that have created a great ecosystem around their great NFT projects. Again, most NFTs fail. People do many good things, but most of them are garbage. It's a fact. It just happens. People are trying to find a quick cash grab by forming this community that will not last long. But one of the big things that shows that NFTs will be involved in the long run is how they will build an entire ecosystem around them. Now, we're not just talking about NFT drops, but also the community disagreements we see in most projects. We're talking about building your ecosystem around your community and the brand you create through the first NFTs you drop. Some products do this well, while others have tried and failed. But in general, this is the type of NFT you want to invest in the long term. The ones that will continue to develop and move forward. So, do you understand what the NFT ecosystem is? If we say, hey, you want to invest here, you want to invest in an ecosystem, not just in an NFT. What does that mean? The real issue here is that they will have a great collection, their first collection drop. Often, these collectibles just drop with people knowing that they will go beyond what they do. We usually see it happening to most of the first NFT projects. They removed their original collection and had no real intention of doing anything from scratch. And we believe many products tend to do this. But then we saw some projects that followed that, and we realized that their community wanted more commitment. They wanted a lot of things to happen. They tried to strengthen their roadmap, and they wanted to do something interesting. They like to maintain the developer's commitment to the community permanently. Just having an NFT as your main collectible won't last long because of the need for the community to grow. We want the community to continue to grow because that will give more people a reason to spend their time on the Discord server, Metaverse, games, or any other platforms. That's why we see some of these secondary collections come out. These secondary collections can be obtained as an airdrop to store the original collections or the Genesis collections they have. It can also be a separate collection because you have a Genesis collection that you may need to mint first or have the opportunity to do first. It's what we often see when collecting NFTs. It's not just NFTs, but an entire ecosystem. The people working together really show what's going on in this community. In the long run, they're committed to it, and the team gives them some material to keep this ecosystem. There's no better analogy than hanging carrots. However, when we talk about hanging carrots, we don't mean bad. We mean the opposite of that. We understand it like any other brand. You have to keep things fresh. You have to keep people engaged. To do this, you need to continue developing your project. So when we talk about a complete ecosystem, we usually look at a few different NFTs, including the ecosystem, the origin of that NFT, and then some collection of the secondary NFTs that they launch with some kind of synergy with that primary collection. We have seen many NFT projects add tokens, where the tokens can be used individually or earned as passive income while maintaining the original NFT collections. But in a way, those tokens give you some kind of utility to the community or ecosystem they created. We're starting to see many projects understand that they need more than that. They require some type of interaction, not a static PFP project that will take you nowhere. We are beginning to see many of these developers creating their own metaverse. They will generate some experience in an existing virtual world or make their entire virtual world or games around their brand. It combines all of NFT's Genesis collections and these secondary collections, and their token is the primary driver of the ecosystem. Therefore, the ecosystem is critical to the financial viability of these NFT projects. We are just beginning to see many of these projects fail on the curb without them. It's just the next hot thing until it's no longer hot, which will only last a few months. But many large projects usually sustain their economy, so they didn't get rug pulled, and they gave people what they wanted, which was more content and more of their brand. As we said, since these first NFT collections are the key to accessing the next ecosystem they build, this is one of the best ways to do it. Therefore, you should look for these traits when considering which NFT is the best buy. We are looking at things like groups, the value of mint, and the size of the community. But in fact, we think one of the most important things that people don't realize is that they're building an ecosystem around their brand. Because if they don't, it's likely to take a long time. We will see that this project will fail, and nothing will happen. However, if you get your NFT keys or access to the ecosystem, we believe many people will want to use it for a long time because you will continue to add value to that ecosystem. Today, many game projects solve this, but many NFT-centered projects are likely to copy it. Now, that doesn't mean every NFT project is like that, but we need to look for these things when looking for high-quality NFT projects. And we believe we've seen some projects that understand and embrace this trait. We're also monitoring some upcoming projects. But this is what we need to look for when looking for NFTs worth the investment. We have to find that 5%. Having seen some of the best NFTs in multiple blockchains, leading ones have done just that, creating an ecosystem that keeps their audiences and users as loyal as any regular brand. But most people don't necessarily understand this when talking about NFTs, because they have no experience with them. Now, when we look at some of the most successful projects, even the pioneering NFT products that aren't game-centric, CyberKongs has been in the lead for a long time. When they started, they had all these things on their roadmap. They already have this idea, and this is what they should do. They need to create a meaningful ecosystem, one that engages with their community at a higher level. CyberKongs has done a great job at mitigating this problem. Their primary collection was the Genesis Kongs, and then they made baby Kongs tied with Genesis. Then they also got VX Kongs, a voxelized version for their future virtual world games. Additionally, these NFTs generate 10 banana tokens per day. While the cost of primary collections has become more and more expensive, it's still attracting much public interest. But that's when you end up with something a bit cheaper. So you want to have a lot of collections here. Because these things are reducing your value and want to continue to grow the ecosystem they have created based on this series. So for example, my VX is only about 2 ETHs, but they give me a lot of access, like for the sandbox minigames. So even though it's worth only 2 ETHs, it has more value than that just because of the access they give me. These are the things that are still cheap but still an essential part of their ecosystem, which continues to grow. We recently saw projects at the top of the list doing this and growing their ecosystems, not so much in the beginning. We're talking about the Bored Ape Yacht Club, another good example located on the Ethereum network. They started with Bored Apes, then Kennel Club, then Mutant Apes. They also make serums now, and they also have IP CryptoPunks under their umbrella, and they decided to push and expand. They have an upcoming metaverse game and then issue ape coins. These things work together in their ecosystem, and having any of this will give some advantages. So no matter which one you own, they will increase their NFT value over time. Therefore, it's cheaper to buy a mutant ape at this time than to buy a bored ape. Mutants will still give you some value. It may not give you as much as the original, but it will still give you a considerable amount. Therefore, it's a great way to understand what is happening in a good NFT market. If your level is high, you can maybe catch up with the Bored Ape wagon, but we're sure many people understand that they're a bit pricey. That's why it may be worthwhile to buy some smaller collectibles from their ecosystem in the long run. We're starting to see this happening in other blockchains. Some big projects are creating their ecosystems on other blockchains like Cardano. So we saw the Bosscat Rocket Club take a page from my CyberKongs book, and they got the idea right away. So they divide the original Bosscat and then the Rocket NFTs, meaning you can combine multiple NFT rockets to make a single rocket available in the sandbox. Now they have extended this to creating their voxel section. They have already sold lands for the metaverse and offer free boss cats to anyone who owns one of the first 2 NFT collections. So the same pattern appears again. The artists have the original collection and several subsequent collections. Some of them take this NFT as airdrops, and then they have lands for sale that will help maintain the metaverse and bring people there to create their own experience. But again, when it comes to this ecosystem, it has the same elements as the other prominent elements in its chain because of the ecosystem it created. Now we are starting to see many more projects using this idea. They fully understand ecosystems. Building an ecosystem is what you want to do when starting a big NFT project. Meaning, you should look for projects that put it on the roadmap and do it well from the start to finish. We think that's one of the main things we're looking for in NFTs. We recently saw the same in an NFT project from Solana called Sol Gods. They had their original series, but also released an additional series called Fracture. They have their valuable tokens called Gods coming soon. So another project came from our friends at Wax. It's called Chummies. Chummies was one of the first PFP projects in Wax blockchain. Now they have successfully produced a variety of series. It has booths that let you get its current token, called the Friends token. It comes from a single creator, so it makes sense that you're likely to see these things improve over time and show us that they understand the power of creating NFT ecosystems and what it can do. So when it comes to NFTs, you have to find and buy from the 5%. The teams that understand the idea are what you want to support in the long run. This method is what you should be looking for if you wish for lasting success as an NFT investor. There should be no more one-stop PFP projects with a poor roadmap and does not include other utilities. Those days are over. And that's to say, maybe it's the right time to see the problem solved and get involved in some projects that understands that building an NFT ecosystem is the way forward. That's our video for today. We hope you like it. In the comment section below, let us know your thoughts and opinions about NFT projects and other signs you're looking for when finding a suitable investment. Well, that's all for now. This is Investment Tribe. See you again tomorrow. Keep in mind to like, share, and subscribe.